And welcome back to the sixth episode of season 41 for the New Generation Challenge podcast. We are back talking about another episode of Vets versus New Threats. We're your hosts. My name is Brett Parnell.
And I'm Titi Fernandez.
And Titi, great to be back again. Any overall thoughts of this episode before we get going?
Um, I think this episode was pretty loaded. I was like kind of watching it while I was like eating dinner, but then I got like a little bit distracted. And normally like if I get a little distracted, I'll watch it later anyways, but
Yeah.
I had to pause, like put a complete pause because I was like, I need to listen to everything about the episode. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. So did I. Um, on Wednesday, I had my fantasy football draft, but then ended up watching it at like midnight. So once we got home,
I had mine on Tuesday.
oh,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah, I got both Kelsey and Mahomes on mine, so I'm excited for the game
nice,
today. I got a jersey from the Chiefs and I got number 13 and it says Swift on the back. So
nice. I love it.
wearing Chiefs right now, but I'll put that on
Nice.
later.
I am gonna hold off on my teams until Sunday as an Indianapolis and Buffalo fan, but we'll see. The one day a year that I end up against our entire Swifty fandom is when Buffalo plays Kansas City in the AFC final.
Yeah.
It tends to happen every year.
Yeah. You got to root for Kelsey, I feel like.
Fair enough.
We get Taylor on the field. Anyways, so getting into the episode, we start off with a bus ride and we see that the vets and the threats are separated into different buses, which I thought was kind of interesting for them to
I
do.
really like this. I mean, I think it was just a complete coincidence based on geographic location. Like when they're filming in, say, Croatia, it's normal in Europe to have buses that are 60 seater. In South America, it's just common that buses are like 15 seats.
Hmm.
So I think they almost had to, but it made for some great television.
Yeah, I think maybe they were like encouraged to all or like they said, oh, new threats over here, vets over here, because they kind of knew that the rookies are they're kind of trying to plot something. And I think like for some like let's say like Izzy, she probably wouldn't have sat with all the rookies. She probably would have gone and sat with like Olivia or something. So I also think that there was some intentional things about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the vets or the threats use this as an opportunity to kind of talk strategy and they are wanting to send the vets home. What did you think about that?
I think that seeing that we've had this like UK alliance, which I mean at this point, when you factor in Olivia and Chavez and Anissa is pretty much half Americans anyway, and then we had the other alliance that's more like the rookies plus Ashley and Nani on the other side. I think this at least gives it an opportunity for some people to have an option coming up to make some big game moves and say, do we want to stick to our original two alliances or maybe push in another direction to see if one side or the other can get a numerical advantage? But it'll be fun to find out what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I feel like the lines have not been drawn in the sand.
Yeah.
Because you have the vets also being like no vet on vet crime, which we heard them talk about a lot the last episode. Which I mean, we saw spoiler alert Olivia get voted in, so it's not as whatever. But we also see kind of like a mini alliance between like Nani, Aviv with like Sydney and Dee in a way, but then they're also with the rookies, and then there's Olivia's alliance, which is in between. So it's kind of it's complicated, but I think it's an interesting dynamic to see work
The
out.
one thing I think is going to be really fun here is we always see these kind of alliances talked about, but they never just seem to happen. Having 50% rookies and the caliber of rookies we have, like Gabe, like Sydney, D, it really gives the opportunity for maybe this to push through and actually be a thing this time if it works out that way, as compared to, say, in Ride or Dies or Total Madness, that it was just never going to really happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like you said, they always kind of try to say that, but then at the same time, even we're seeing it now, like someone like D who was in a showman's with bananas, like, are you gonna pick a rookie or are you gonna pick bananas over a rookie? Probably not, you know?
Yeah.
So it is,
Well, we saw how quickly D moved on past that showman. So
yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have
I don't
really,
think Johnny was back in the States before D was over it.
yeah, I didn't look very genuine, let's just
Yeah.
say.
So then we get into the daily, which really surprised me, mostly because of something that TJ says. He starts off saying, "You guys are in for my favorite challenge," and then it's a heights over water challenge, and I'm like, "Isn't that your line for trivia?"
Yeah, I was like, when he said that, I was like, is it trivia or
Yeah,
what's going on here? Um,
which also has me a little nervous that we won't get a trivia this season.
I think we will.
I hope so,
You have to
because
do
it's
a trivia.
always the funniest thing.
You can't not do trivia. Like, come on. But yeah,
I
the
mean,
challenge is
Spies, Lies,
called,
and Allies didn't do trivia.
oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't remember, so but they should never not do trivia.
yeah, I agree.
The challenge is called Ruins My Life. So they have to swim to the structure, climb up some ladders, collect the runes. Which, do you even know what that means? It was RUNES. I was like,
Like small stones in the Middle Ages, from what I've heard before, but I don't know
oh,
how
okay,
that's
that makes sense.
relevant in this day and age.
I was very confused. I was like,
I would
ruins, like,
guess it's just like a replica item.
yeah, probably. But they had to climb up the ladders, collect the ruins, build a puzzle, jump back in the water, and swim back to the raft. Yeah, what did you think about that?
It was a fun challenge to watch. Certainly some controversy after, which we're gonna say. The first thing I thought of was last week with Olivia's bad politics that made her the hangnail, and I'm like, Olivia's probably, after what happened in 39, just breathing a complete sigh of relief and going, "I'm the hangnail now. I don't have to do this,"
Yeah.
because watching both her and Michelle in 39 was extremely scary.
No, I 100% agree. I thought it was interesting, but I also it didn't really feel like a true heights over water challenge. Like I don't think the height was that high, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Um, it looked. I mean, the ladder looked decently high, but I don't think it. I think that they've lowered it and maybe learned some of their lessons from a few of the past seasons.
Yeah, I in my opinion it didn't look because they had to climb up it, like it's not going to be as high as something if they're just suspended in the middle of the air.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we see CT is expressing that he's scared of the heights over water, which is kind of a new feeling for him because he usually is never scared of those
Yeah.
things.
But he
Um,
got a serious injury last season that he did
yes,
in
he had to get taken out
40.
in the ambulance. So, yeah, what did you think about CT's overall like performance in the challenge?
I think, and we'll probably get more into this in the next clip when we get back to the house with the fight that happens. But I just think that CT is just a bigger guy that it's what maybe was his strength 15 years ago isn't anymore. I don't think there's much he did wrong here, despite what Turbo was trying to throw around, probably just to cause drama, knowing Turbo.
Yeah, this is I'm kind of in the middle here because and one point of view is I agree with you 100%. Like he's not 24 anymore. He's in his 40s. Like he's not in the shape that he was. But I also think we I'm pretty sure we probably have seen CT kind of get mad when somebody else isn't trying or somebody
Yeah,
else isn't doing that. And for him to just, and I understand he was scared, but for him to just not, it didn't even look like he really even attempted.
That's fair.
Like, I think he's still, which we've seen him perform this season, I feel like he's still, even though he's not in shape, really, he's still able to climb a ladder.
Yeah. It's
Um,
I mean, I think it's probably one of those things that only the people who climb the ladder would know for 100% certainty on how easy or hard it is to get up, especially if you're a
have you climbed
big.
a ladder like that?
Back when we did rock climbing in high school, I did.
Oh, I've done it a couple times.
Mm,
Not that hard
okay,
because you can use your you don't have to pull yourself really. You just
so
kind of have to move a
that's
leg
good to
up,
know with you doing it as
step,
an adult. Because
grab.
when I did it, it was we were in grade 7, so totally different experience at that phase of life.
Yeah, I it's not really that hard just because you just move your one leg up, step, grab. Like
Oh,
it,
that's easy enough.
yeah, I don't think anybody would have that big of a problem, especially nobody in that cast.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, so speaking of that, CT didn't climb the ladder, so him and Lekka got last place in the challenge. And we see a rookie team, Sydney and Leo, kind of, or not kind of, they won the daily.
it took
Despite being,
me 6 weeks, but I can finally say Sydney won a challenge. I was so happy to see this as my favorite rookie coming in.
she's won other dailies though, hasn't she?
Nope, she came second
Oh,
a
she
couple of
hasn't?
times.
Oh, for some reason I thought she had won, probably
No,
because
it's
she
her first win.
has always performed very well. Yeah, that was very impressive. This challenge, so they had to also like climb around to get to here, sorry, if you want to continue away. Sorry. The
No
dog had
problem.
um they had to also climb around, which I think that looked pretty scary, but I don't think it was a true heights over water where you're suspended in the air and if you
Yeah,
get the position wrong, you get just dropped out of nowhere. I feel like you kind of have more of a like even if you like feel like you're falling, you're able to realize that oh my God, I'm about to fall or
yeah.
I'm slipping, let me
Not
drop.
not enough where you're just uncontrollably spinning the
Yeah,
way we
not
saw in 39.
because, like, imagine being kind of up there, being like, oh my God, I'm slipping, I'm gonna fall. So then you're like, okay, I'm gonna fall. And you kind of fall more of like a pencil dive type of
Yeah,
thing where you're able to fall upright. And I think a lot of times, especially on season 40, where they were like rolling around
that's it.
basically, the injuries are a lot
If you
worse.
dive straight in, you're gonna be okay from much higher than even they do. But
Hmm.
if people are falling uncontrollably, the ability to damage your organs is pretty high.
Yeah, I agree.
But then after the daily, we see excuse me, rookies planning to keep the nomination secret, which was interesting.
Yeah, this was kind of interesting to me, and I don't know if they did this to kind of like spot the mole in a way because like even if you are keeping it a secret in a few hours or the next day whenever it is you're gonna have to say who it is anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like something like Ride or Dies when they the four teams were nominated and then they had like somebody that you can tell, oh, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe, you automatically vote him in. It's not
Yeah.
big of a surprise, I think. Um,
And
and
now, perfect timing as we're about to get into the CT versus Turbo fight, only because Bruce, my co host on Treble Council Chat, is just
Mhm.
watching the episode right now and sent me a text of pictures of countless examples of young CT and said, "If imagine if Turbo got into a fight with this guy."
Yeah, exactly.
But we coming in here and at some point, whenever his favorite player has a notable episode, you'll probably end up seeing Bruce on this show for those of us in our audience who don't see our Survivor show. He says he'd love to come on whenever there's a Big D episode to talk about.
That's gonna be excited. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
But in this case, we see Turbo decide in the middle of the kitchen that he's gonna pick a fight with CT and tell him that he threw the challenge because it was a girls' day.
yeah, it was kind of odd because at first he was saying CT threw the challenge, but then it was like, oh, you didn't try. You didn't throw it, but you didn't try because of Girls' Day or whatever. But yeah, it kind of puts me back into that place of like, I agree, like Turbo, what are you doing? You don't know who you're messing with right
Yeah,
now. But then also, I think Turbo did because I do really like Lekka.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, so do I.
and I think Turbo did make one good point that I don't know necessarily agree with, but understand in a way when he said CT, like, you know that you were coming to the challenge. You know what you were doing. You like it's not like he's basically saying you do have to take responsibility in a way, which I think he did feel sorry about it, but because you didn't come in ready to go and ready to like get going, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see that as well. I'm just not sure why Turbo needed to be the person to get involved here, other than the fact that Turbo likes to get involved in these kind of things.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Lekka going into elimination has no impact on Turbo's game whatsoever. They're not
Exactly.
working together. This is not a team season. They're not partners. That it's not going to
They're
make.
not friends, they're not outlet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I
If
agree
if
100%.
Lekka wins, it's going to end up. Oh, so if Lekka loses, it's going to end up being a negative on CT going into next week, not onto anyone else.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Turbo just wanted to start some shit. Like
Yeah,
that's what it was. Um, but at the end of the day, it's not Turbo's place. It was surprising to me when Lekka was like, "Thank you so much for saying something or for standing up for me or
yeah.
whatever." And I think she was taking it as like, "Oh, this guy really cares." But no, it was he's trying to start shit.
It's
Like
just
it's
Turbo. Lekka should
yeah,
watch some more
Turbo
seasons of
being
Turbo.
Turbo. Exactly.
Yeah. Is there any season of Turbo that he doesn't just try to start some shit somewhere?
Well, honestly, that's why I love seeing Turbo because you
Yeah,
don't
same.
like yes, please
But
start
I mean,
things.
it's the same reason that we like seeing Ashley. It's the same reason that people are really enjoying seeing Sydney as a rookie. The only
Mhm.
reason that a good portion of the audience doesn't get that with Amanda is because she can't hold her own when it comes to anything that's related to a challenge.
Yeah, you got to be able to at least back it up. You know, you can't just be
And if
starting things.
anybody is going to back it up, it's Turbo.
Yeah. And I mean, like Cara said in the roast, she's like, you can always tell how close you are to the final on how much you can see or CT's jawline. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like it is still very early on, so we haven't gotten to see kind of what he did on like World of Worlds 2 and Double Agents and stuff. But I feel like CT's really good at like, as long as he stays in the house, he can get into shape.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, the Rookie Alliance, Tarzan and Three Janes, seems to be getting and maybe not so much Lekka, because I guess she's sort of involved with CT's situation and she's going into elimination. But certainly, me and Sydney and Dio getting a big kick out of the fact that the vets are fighting in the house for the first time. And I think the only other legendary challenge fight we've had so far is Will and his desperation for being single.
Yeah, that wasn't really even a fight. It was just
No,
a fight amongst
it was
themselves.
just Will being drunk and crazy.
I will say another thing that I did like to see is Nani stepping in and also like getting or I okay, two things. One thing, it made me very upset when CT was like, "Hey, let's hug it out. We're friends." And Turbo was like, "No."
Yeah.
I I felt so bad for him.
I
But
know.
I do like how Nani kind of stepped in and instead of like yelling at him, kind of like how we saw on Ride or Dies, she like said, right now is not a good time. He's heated up, just let him be. And she
Yeah.
said like they went from being friends to allies and then enemies and then rivals and partners and now that they're she said now that they're just family. Um, so I really like to see that bond between the both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we get a club scene, which was probably for me the lowest point of the episode because my two favorite players are trying to get each other out of the game. That's never easy to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a fun position to be in. I know that you've been a very big fan of Sydney for a long time. I
I've been saying in social media back after Survivor 41, and because keep in mind for the audience who doesn't know the time frame, Sydney was on Survivor at the exact same time that Michelle was first on the challenge. So I started watching both shows during both of the first seasons. So I've been saying since basically the end of Spice Lies and Allies that Sydney needs to do the challenge, and production must have read it. I don't know.
yeah, I did watch that season of Survivor. And I because I didn't watch 41. I still haven't
That is
or no.
funny.
No, I haven't watched 42. I still have to
Okay.
watch. But I
At
think
first, I thought you were about to go the other direction, and I'm like, if you tell me you didn't watch 40.
no, I did watch 41. I didn't watch 42.
Makes sense.
Um, but because I was like, what is this COVID game? I'm not a fan. I mean, now
Yeah.
I still it, but um I
As long
the
as you watch both Michelle seasons, you're good.
well, yeah, obviously that's where I became a fan.
Yeah.
The first one.
Same here.
Um, but yeah, I watched, the reason I started watching Survivor again on 43 was because Cody is actually, his family is from the same hometown as my boyfriend's family.
Oh,
It's
really?
like
Neat.
less than 1,000, it's like 800 people that live there.
Wow. That's funny.
Yeah, that's the reason why we started watching it because it was like, oh my God, like I always say that they're related because everybody's related in that town. Anyways, sorry to get super sidetracked. But yeah, Izzy kind of spills the beans to Olivia, and that's why I think it was almost like a test from the rookie because they knew that Olivia was going to somehow find out that she was being targeted at some point. She would like when they say her name, that's like, oh, like surprise, you know?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
That was definitely a neat point of the episode. We'll see what happens, but now Olivia is certainly much more in on what's going on the other side of the house, which makes her both be, I think, not only knowledgeable, but I think she was much more prepared for the possibility of going into elimination now.
Yeah, my
And we
thing,
notice a lot of people handle that news badly. Olivia was just ready to go.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I see two sides of this. I don't know what I would have done if I was Izzy
Mm,
because you wouldn't want to um like betray your friend by not telling her, but also at the same time it's like where Izzy, where do you stand on Olivia's alliance and where do you stand on the rookie's alliance?
yeah,
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know that. Um because yet like they did meet for the first time in this game. So I think Izzy like she because Olivia didn't keep her mouth. I mean, everybody knew Olivia got word of it. It wasn't something um like it wasn't everybody knew that Izzy had told her. So I don't know what would be the right choice to make here just because I don't know what like would the rookies target like does she know like oh the rookies are going to target me now because I told Olivia or how does that work, you know?
yeah. I guess it depends who ends up getting the numbers in the long run.
Absolutely.
Probably not long run, probably the next week or two, but
Yeah, and then nominations, we saw pretty close votes between Olivia and Anissa, and at the end, Izzy and LeRoy had the chance to tie it. Um, and LeRoy kind of strong-armed Izzy and said Olivia is getting voted in no matter what.
yeah.
What did you think of that?
Um, that I did not like at all.
I agree.
Um, I don't. I'm still getting the sense when I watched this a couple of times that Leroy thinks that if it's a vet rookie pair, that the fact that he's done 10 seasons makes him in charge of deciding what they do. Leroy, you haven't won one. um, I don't. In my opinion, if you're playing the challenge, you're playing the challenge. I would have. I'd love to see what would have happened if Izzy did a Amanda and Zach here and said, no, we're voting for Anissa, and then let TJ tell us how it's going to work this season.
Yeah, I was hoping for that.
Yeah, so
I
was I.
watching it, I was like, please, like, come on, let's because I mean, at least like me personally, I don't like when anybody tells me what to do, let alone a
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Um, and I did not like the way that I agree with you. I don't like the way that he reacted to that, kind of like a I'm better than you because I've done more seasons than you and you're going to listen to me no matter what because you are in a partnership
yeah.
together. So, um
It's like something that I texted you that I'm like, Leroy seems to be taking too many lessons from Johnny, who's now left the game. And you don't want to take lessons from Johnny when it comes to how to work in a team with younger women.
yeah.
That hasn't worked out well.
Yeah, especially when like Leroy's in a relationship, so you can't
Yeah.
even use like the politicking to your advantage. Um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't love that. I didn't really like the way that he reacted, and I think he could have been because Leroy is not. I mean, except his last quote unquote last season when he did was it like double agents or spies, one of the spy ones.
Yeah.
Um, that's when he was very cutthroat, but we don't really see like Leroy's a very he gets portrayed as a very nice guy, so I didn't really like when he kind of stepped into that dictator role about the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get into elimination. It's called out of time. Players have to go up a hill of rollers, hit the button, come back, slide down, hit the button again. Whoever gets the most buttons hit, that scores you a point. You win after 5 minutes. Leka starts to just power through this. And it looks like Olivia's in a lot of trouble, and I'm not enjoying this at all.
Yeah. I was very I was worried when I was watching it because it looked like Leka was a college athlete, very athletic person. Um sorry, we have a visitor.
Aww.
My dog is here for anybody who's not watching the video. Um, but yeah, was kind of it looked like she was gonna win.
Yeah,
Um, and this elimination, I don't know, I feel like it takes a special type of athlete. Like I remember when I used to run track, you always have the people that would run like 800s, but then you also have the people that would run they were cross country runners. So they would
yeah,
be running more like longer distances and the way that you run when you have a set time limit of 5 minutes is not it's very complicated because you're not running at the speed of a sprint, but
right.
you're also not running at the speed of a long distance run. It's
Absolutely.
hard to pace yourself in something like that, and like the lactic acid and everything. So I really enjoyed this
I mean,
challenge,
I'm
but
glad she won the daily, but I would have liked to see Sydney do an elimination like this based on how much long distance running experience she has in college
yeah,
and just in her personal life. That you
I saw
always see her running the Brooklyn Bridge every day. That probably is about the same distance.
Yeah, I was gonna say I follow her on Instagram and I saw she like runs to work.
Yeah,
If I did
she
that, I was walking like sopping
she
wet.
lives, I believe, in Brooklyn and works in Manhattan and does. runs the bridge over to her office every day.
How long is that?
Um, uh, Me walking it takes about 20 minutes. So if you ran it, 5 minutes would probably be about good.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably closer. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. The Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, it's the main bridge in New York.
Um, it's 1.1 miles.
There you go.
Yeah. So checks out. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would be an interesting thing to see her do. And I wonder, because again, you have different types of athletes, you have different types of runners, you have people that are good for medium distances like
Yeah,
this, where you're able to run pretty fast, but then you also have people that are able to run marathons and whatever. So yeah, it was an interesting elimination.
no.
Um,
One
and
thing I noticed here, which I found very fascinating, is when Leka goes down and doesn't get her point, and it's at the point that Olivia passes her. Leka
I did not
seemed
notice
to reach out and grab where like the structure is with the timekeeper above your head.
that. Hmm.
I saw her arm just like fly out that way right towards it as if she was almost trying to pull herself over the hill. So
I
I
did.
wondered if production might have told her, like, no, you don't get a point. You have to go back to the start.
So, but also Olivia did beat her by 2 points.
Yeah. Oh, she
So,
probably would have won anyway. It was
yeah.
just a observation of, oh, Leka goes down and slides down the slide at the exact same moment as it looked like she may have broken the rules.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not something like a Derek and Horacio
Yeah.
elimination, like who should have won, this, that, and the other. But yeah, that's interesting that you pointed that out because I did not notice that.
Sure. But then, like you say, Olivia ends up winning by 2 points. So she's maintaining power in the house so far. In contrast, one of the Janes, being Leka, is gone, and now Sydney, Dee, and Jeremy seem to be in a CBS alliance of three that's a subset within both the US alliance and the rookie alliance.
Yeah, it is. That alliance is like they kind of got their toes dipped in every pool.
Yeah,
Like they have, except
except for Theo and
UK.
Olivia.
UK, yeah. They got the rookies, they got the vets, and because they're all very good athletes, they are able to kind of have a working relationship with everybody. So it's going to be interesting to
Which
see
is
how.
exactly where you really want to be because you're looking at that going, the rookies won't vote us in, Dee and Ashley won't, and then Nani won't vote us in. Um, the US vets won't vote us in. So they just really got to make sure that they're not watching the whole group go down one after the next.
But that's also, it's almost like a blessing and a curse there because
Yeah,
it it's good to have a lot of people on your side, but it can also come back to bite you in the ass if everybody's like, why is this person protected by every angle of the house, you know?
true.
But yeah, overall, it was a good elimination. I enjoyed seeing it. I like how it was in the middle of a long distance and like a sprint type of thing.
Yeah,
Because it's a different type of running and different type of it's not even it's a different type of stamina, I would say. It's not
for
the
sure.
same as a lot of other things. Um, Somebody who I think would be really good at this elimination is Zach Nichols.
Yeah,
'Cause he's
definitely.
very good at like that like short, like middle distance, we've seen him do very well at. But yeah, do you have any more thoughts before we move on to player of the week?
I don't if you don't.
So for my male, I chose Jeremy. I was kind of having trouble picking this one
Yeah,
or
I
one.
was too.
I was like, who did like I don't know,
It
because
was a very,
it was a
I mean,
female.
it was a female week. It was in terms of good performances, it was a very female dominated episode. There was
Mhm.
lots of male TV moments, but CT, Turbo, LeRoy, they're all in discussion on a other nomination that we're going to do right after this.
Mhm.
Not None of them really stand out as like, oh, this man had an excellent week.
Yeah, but I chose Jeremy just because he's
Hmm.
very well positioned in the game.
Yeah,
Did like again how we just talked about, he kind of has his toes dipped in every pool. He's got a good relationship with some of the male and female vets. He's got a good relationship with the rookies, and he's been performing so well that like people wouldn't necessarily want to see him in elimination.
yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. I chose Justin here, notably for what we see at the beginning of the episode, because, like I said, it was at the end we get a lot more negative scenes from male players. At the beginning, we start to see Justin really talking strategy in confessional, and I just picked up on that, and I'm like, this is the guy who everyone wanted to get rid of week one, and now he seems to be really
And
thinking
who
of
was
the
the
game.
last male to pick, like he was the last male picked.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's thinking strategically and almost transitioning from being the one that is that last male picked into calling some of the shots. So I'm really impressed with Justin's game so far this week and looking forward to seeing what he brings to the second half of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I think Justin is definitely somebody that was very underestimated, and he's not only performing well, but he's also, like you said, doing a good job with getting into the strategic side of the game, which I think is really good. For my female, I went with Olivia.
Nice.
I think that if especially beginning of that elimination, but I think a lot of people would have picked Lekka over her to win that elimination because we have seen obviously Olivia now is a completely different athlete. She has been working on her endurance and her cardio training and stuff. But I remember from Ride or Dies when she was having trouble with like cardio, and just seeing how she's implemented that into her training and was able to win that elimination against somebody that a lot of people wouldn't see coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great pick. I went with Sydney here. Been waiting to give this to Sydney for a while. Winning the daily as a rookie pair is not an easy feat at all, especially in a challenge like Heights Over Water that takes some experience to get used to. And I don't believe that either Sydney or Leo has ever done something like this before, although seeing Sydney's travel pictures online, it wouldn't surprise me if she has. But with that, I definitely wanted to put her as my female player of the week.
Yeah, I think Sydney is doing a very, very good job. Again, I was surprised that she hadn't won a daily. I had just
I
assumed that
mean,
she.
quite the compliment last week from CT saying that Sydney is already rookie of the year contention.
Speaking of CT, for my I had to go with CT. I don't agree with how Turbo handled the situation, but I feel like when you have that status of a legend in the game, and not to compare him to Bananas, but like Bananas would never do that, you know? And I feel like you have to, I feel like I would have understood more if it was something like a trivia where you're suspended in the air, you don't know if you're gonna get dropped or not based on like if you get the question right or wrong. I think this is something that he definitely, I could definitely tell that he knows how to climb a ladder. And again, if you just know how to move your legs up, you know how to do it. Um, And it was kind of disappointing to me that he didn't even give it a try. I would have liked to see him at least try and say like, or at least try to get up the ladder, get one super close and be like, "Hey, you got Lekka, you got to get the other ones. I'm worried about this." Or
Yeah,
so that's why I had to go with CT. I think he's got more, he can do a lot better than that.
makes sense. I went with LeRoy here, mostly down to that voting scene that we talked about. It's my view that all LeRoy managed to do in this incident is make himself a target on a day that Olivia and Theo have power. There's a bunch of guys in the US Alliance. Now you know, okay, Leroy is 100% against us. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah, and not only did he like he was very clear, like, I'm voting for Olivia no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, that was, I don't know. It's
Then again, I
very
say you
obvious
can
that
get
he's
rid of.
coming after.
Absolutely. Then again, I say you can get rid of him. Theo might want to run against him in a final, but we'll see. What about your
For
female?
my female, so I was kind of going back and forth here, but I had to go with Izzy just because I think she, like we talked about earlier, I don't know where she stands on Olivia's roster or where she stands on the rookie roster, but she was kind of made herself a very easy target for the rookies and she kind of walked right into the trap, which that's what I think it was. I think it was more to see who's the rat in here, who's telling people that, and I think she's probably going to get targeted pretty soon by those rookies because they know
Yeah,
that she's informing.
makes sense. I would say that that's a good one. I went with Anissa in this situation. The reason for that is that if we go back a few seasons and we compare them to this cast, the as much as the audience hates it, the big thing for like seasons 35 through 40 was the Vacation Alliance. And the two players that we have from that group on this season is Anissa and Nani. And at this point, Anissa has exposed her cards to be totally in with Olivia, who was a rookie in 38, and at the expense of some pre existing relationships that she had. And I don't think that bodes well for her going forward.
Yeah, and in addition, her and LeRoy, she was with LeRoy, right?
Yeah.
Their performance, they almost lost too.
Yeah.
So it's also like, I agree with you. She's kind of shown her cards. And even though her and Olivia are close friends, I think it's too early for you to say, I have her over all of you.
Yeah. There's
So I
just
agree.
too many votes out there.
Especially with people that she's known for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Don't reveal that yet if that's the truth.
Maybe after the mid-season twist or something. And I mean, hey, I don't mind Anissa doing this at all. It clearly shows that, like, if this alliance ever gets back together, that maybe Olivia and Michelle will be closer to like a Torian and Devin than someone like Nani, which would be amazing. But yeah, that's not this season. And right now, I don't think Anissa is well numbered on either side.
Yeah, I think when push comes to shove, they're gonna pick to send her in.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, no offense in this way, but I would love to run a final against Tanisa if I
Yeah.
were those girls, like put somebody else in.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But I don't have anything else unless you have
No,
anything.
that was perfect.
Yeah.
Great
Back
again.
next.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week. I mean, hopefully, if you enjoy your trip, if you're not, or if we're not here, but are you
Wait,
going
what?
away?
Am I?
I don't know. We'll talk offline. But either way, we'll be back as soon as we can.
Yeah, no, I think I'll be here.
Okay, perfect. So you'll be here. I'll be here.
Yes.
We'll be back for episode 7.
Yeah. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.